Hello friends and welcome back. I'm Anna Delman. It is day number 185 of my note writing journey, and my note of encouragement for today is trust my go-to response when bad hits the fan. And the reason I picked that is I was convicted yesterday after working through all of this, so it's back on the board again for today for me to have another look at it. And I did go deeper into Isaiah 26:3. You keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Now when we're not trusting in God, that peace is going to go, because with the lack of peace is a result of the lack of trust, and the lack of trust is because we have lost our confidence in the character of God, which is a bad thing to happen. So, is trust my go-to response when bad hits the fan? How to get there? An honest assessment of your predicament, your thoughts, why you are doubting, and what's going on in your life. How to change? Discipline your thoughts. What is the outcome once you've worked through all of that? And friends, before I give you the outcome, I'm going to emphasize, I've said it before, I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to remind myself of it most probably tomorrow when a negative thought comes to mind. Change is a process. It is not an event. Anybody who tells you that you got to change in the snap of a finger is not your friend. They're not an encourager. Tell them to keep quiet, bite their tongue, and not to comment on the predicaments of your life. It's a process, not an event. Sure, the event is, I want to change. I'm going to change. The practicality of that working out is the process. It means when you go back to those negative thoughts, when you step back into that bad habit, you are being convicted and you're working to change. Over a period of time, you stop it. Now, if you've been doing it for 25 years and you're still struggling and it's just lip service to yourself, then you need to take a deep, hard look at why you are fooling yourself. So the outcome of when you've looked at how to get there, the honest assessment, you've disciplined your thoughts to affect the change. When you discipline your thoughts, you work it out in your actions. So outcome, trust, not because you have to or because you have no option, but a choice. As you've learned, God is faithful. Now, it's what I kind of shared the other day, and I've been noticing in myself over the past season of time, that joy, contentment, the presence of God, and knowing that in your life it is circular. The more you meditate on it, the more joy you're going to have, even though your circumstances are icky, and then you fellowship with God more and more and more, and it's just a sweet and pleasant state to be. So friends, let's take a look at Isaiah 26:3. Again, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Now, yesterday I did look at the word keep, and I've elaborated on a bit more. I took another look at the text. To be guarded, to protect, to be maintained, to be concealed. That means like under the shadow and under God's wings, where you nestle and hide with him there. It's, as I said, to hide, to be preserved, and he watches over you. And I think the sweetest outcome of that being kept experienced is the preservation, because of the perseverance. The perseverance is your responsibility. The preservation is God's, but they are circular. It's just like with the joy and the presence, everything, all of it together, it's circular. The more you persevere, the more you're going to know your faith is being preserved. The more your faith is preserved, the more you're going to be persevering. So hard, friends, to be focused and disciplined in our mindsets because of that understanding. So peace is a safe, happy, prosperous place where amends have been made to bring you that peace. Another circular process. The more you practice peace, the more it will occur in your life, because it's your mindset that is continually being changed to understand that and to be restored, to be friendly with. So when you're at peace with someone, you're at friendship with them. It takes away the fear. It takes away the challenging and everything. And that fear, etc., is your relationship with God. When He is your friend, when He is, as Christ is your brother, and you're in fellowship with Him and in harmony with all of that, it's because you spent the time working through all those things in your life to know His character, to understand it, and to find the sweetness of grace in His presence that you've come to understand, because your thoughts are rightly aligned to what is true. Okay, and then when His mind, the thoughts, and very interesting, your thoughts are squeezed into shape is the understanding from the original text. It's a potter's expression when they're working with an earthen vessel and they're molding something. You mold your mind into shape as you feed it the rightness and correctness of the Word of God, and you change your thoughts accordingly. That means you're putting off the ugly thoughts and you're clinging and holding and bringing in those new ones, and every time your mind goes to the negative, you stop it and you think correctly. Every time your thoughts aren't nipped in the bud and you're getting up to go and do something negative which you shouldn't do, which is clear evidence of rebellion, you need to stop it. You need to be distracted and distract yourself and go do something else. Friends, that comes with hard work and discipline, a process, not an event. The event is the wanting to do it. The change worked out is the process. So, whose mind is stayed, that is leaned on, taken hold of. You lean on it to bear yourself up on it, and you stand fast. So friends, I can say that's how simple it is, and you will know I'm being deceptive and not honest with you, because if you're my age, or you've been through things in life, you know it's not that simple. And that's where our self-discipline needs to come in, and that self-discipline is, Lord, help me. And friends, sometimes we don't do that quick enough. I know that my trust in God has not always been where it should be. And friends, it's to my shame. I have the theological, doctrinal education, bachelor's and master's degree in this stuff, and I'm not saying that negatively. I'm saying I'm using the word stuff to, in a way, rebuke myself. I know it, but yet I have struggled with trusting God, particularly when He brought me back here. He changed circumstances. Have you heard the expression, life changes on a dime? He changed my life on a dime. I had no opportunity to refile paperwork because of things that had been done wrong, and no time to correct, and difficulties that came because of that, and I had to leave the US before my visa expired. Otherwise I would have been illegal. I chose to come back. My choice was either go to China with all expenses paid and work in a children's home as a missionary, or to come back here. I chose to come back here, the land of my birth. I thought I'd come back and work and share my education. Everything went bad real quick. So I struggled to trust God. Why did you give me the education? Why did you bring me here? I've shared previously how He used my education, not in the realm specifically biblically, but He used my ability to research and use the principles from His Word to be able to work on things for persons with intellectual impairments. What intellectually functioning people, and they're compromising relationships, and how mine interacted with that, where they wouldn't work with me. Those with intellectual impairments were all too happy for the input that I could bring to them. Just goes to show those who are supposed to be normally functioning, and the contention there, those who are supposedly not normal functioning by the standards we think are relevant. I functioned very well in serving them. God has a sense of humor, doesn't He? And so, trusting Him, friends, sometimes it's hard to trust. And when things don't get worked out, when you say, okay, this will all be worked out in 8 months, in 18 months, then you think 3 years. Well, it's got to have worked itself out by this time, and it never does. You start churning and churning, accusing, etc. And the more you hear about the bad things you're supposed to have done and how horrible you have been, when all of it is just nastiness and slander, you start, God, really? Is this where you want me to be? And that trust is affected. So friends, when I'm explaining this to you, and this, what I've just described, that personal sharing, that transparency, friends, that's not to disparage anybody. That's me merely explaining that trust can be a hard thing at times. It's to be fought for. That is why Ephesians 6 says we have got to put on the armor of God and be protected. Our minds, our thoughts first, because that's where the first challenge comes. If we keep our minds stayed on you, on Him, because we have learned experientially to trust Him, that's where we win it, friends. That's where we are victorious. So until tomorrow, hoping the outcomes you are wanting in your life, and let's work on trust together. So until then, if you want to join in on the journey, like and subscribe, comment, and let's encourage each other along the way. Bye-bye for today. See you tomorrow.